Thank you. We're going to call the annual meeting to order. If you can stand and say the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
The first item on the agenda is reading the notice of the annual meeting as published. The annual meeting notice was sent to the Daily Herald Airport newspaper and posted at locations required by law, including the doorway to our town hall, along with required financial documents. Is there anyone, can we have a motion to dispense with the reading of the annual meeting minutes?
So moved.
I'm sorry, the annual meeting notice.
So moved.
Thank you. Second?
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, motion carries. And just a reminder, this meeting is run by the electors of the community, not by the board. And if you did not get the financial statements and agenda, they are at the table for you. The second thing is the election and swearing in of a town moderator for this meeting. Does anyone have a motion that they would like to make to recommend a moderator?
May I move that Lori Wagner become the moderator of this meeting?
Thank you. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, any other nominations? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, motion carries. Lori, if you want to come up, I will swear you in.
Oh, where are you going?
Raise your right hand. I do solemnly swear
I do solemnly swear
that I will faithfully and impartially
that I will faithfully and impartially
discharge the duties of the moderator at this town meeting
discharge the duties of this moderator at this meeting
to the best of my ability.
to the best of my ability.
Good, thank you.
Thank you. First, we have the reading and approval of the minutes for the April 2021 annual town meeting. May I have a motion to waive the reading of these minutes?
So moved.
Do I hear a second? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. May I have a motion to approve the minutes of the 2021 annual town meeting?
So moved.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion? Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Next is the supervisor's report. I would like to introduce Supervisor George Busse.
To start out, I want to go through the just a summary of our financial affairs coming out of the fiscal year, which was began April 1st, 2021, and ended in March 31st, 2022. On the town fund, if you remember, we have three budgets. We have the town, well, actually I have four. We have the town fund, we have general assistance, we have road and bridge, and we have the sewer fund. On the town fund, the opening balance was $1,451,724.07. Revenues during the year were $2,935,707.74. Total expenditures were $2,388,991.31. We did get a loan payment from the Road and Bridge Department. Was for a repayment on part of the loan that we made to the Road and Bridge Department. If you remember, we made a loan, town fund made a loan to them in order to for road improvements over the last several years to bring a number of the roads up to code. And they paid us back $612,448. I think there's like $400,000 still remaining on that. So the balance at the end of March, at the end of the fiscal year, March 31st, 2021, was $2,610,000. $888.50. So we're in good shape in terms of our financials and reserves for the town fund. For road and bridge, for the fiscal year ending March 31st, 2022, the opening balance as of April 1st, 2021 was $697,949.05. If you remember, last year, at the start of the fiscal year, the road and bridge, the independent road and bridge department was closed, shut down because of due to the referendum that was held the previous November, which disestablished that department. And the reason why we encouraged that was because we have a limited number of roads and bridges to take care of at this particular time, only 4 or 5 miles. And it was felt that it would be more advantageous to the taxpayers if we closed that department and eliminated the commissioner, the employees, and were able to outsource the services we provided, and that would save the taxpayer money. That was completed at the start of this fiscal year, this last fiscal year, and the responsibilities shifted to the board, overseen by the supervisor. So the opening balance was $697,949.05. The revenue we got in was $549,316.97. Total expenditures were $232,782.62. The interloan payments that they made to the town fund for that loan were $605,194. The ending balance as of March 31st, 2022 were $409,289.40. We're hoping to be able to make additional loan repayments this year and hopefully next year be able to pay off that loan. And we'll go back to a balanced, a non-debt position there. The General Assistance Fund, the opening balance there as of April 1st, 2021 was $1,468,841.16. Revenue was $25,298.44. The expenditures were $331,047.56. So the ending balance as of the end of March 31st was $1,663,092.04. Finally, the sewer fund, and this is fee-based. This is that property taxes are not used for the sewer fund. This is fee-based for the people that actually use the sewers. The opening balance is $634,238.61. Total revenue was $101,070.46. Total expenditures were $75,571.98. The ending balance was $662,737.09. We are in the process of continuing to re-sleeve the clay pipes. Over time, the clay pipes deteriorate. We're sleeving them with plastic, which extends the life immeasurably and brings the sewers up to code. Hopefully, at some point, once we get this fully completed, we'll be able to work with the villages, and it's largely Mount Prospect, to take over the sewers once we bring them up to standard, because this is not a core competency of ours and really isn't something we need to be doing. I guess that's our financials. Are there any questions on the four funds? If not, I'll just some comments of where we are at this point. First of all, concerning financials, our levy was unchanged again. This is for 9 years now that we have not raised our tax levy. We've been able to operate under that same levy, despite the fact that we've been increased services and increased staff in order to support those services. As I mentioned, we will have maybe some one-time benefits for the town fund this year. That would be if we get the IGAs with the villages to do the snow plowing, we'll be able to sell the equipment, and that fund will flow back into the town fund. Well, it'll flow into the road and bridge fund, which is controlled by the board and the supervisor, and then they can pay back the loan. Also, if there's a surplus in terms of revenue and reserves, which we expect that to grow, then they'll be able to pay down their loan more quickly to us as well, too. As we look forward here, the pending capital items where we're adding infrastructure that are pending right now is the bike safety and the challenge course. It's the fence that we would replace on the east side of our property that faces the residents. Those fences are in very bad shape. And then the bathrooms to support the bike safety and the challenge course, and the roof there, and maybe some other work for storage for the challenge course and for bike safety. That is pending right now. Part of the reason for that is, as you're well aware, we've had remediation issues associated with the underground storage tanks. We felt that we had thought that this had been resolved. Elk Grove Village had a responsibility contractually to us to get that resolved. They worked with the IEPA and got the old NFR that was associated with this property I don't want to say reinstated, but approved to be continued, even though there still is some contamination there. The IEPA decided that it didn't require a new NFR. Well, the problem that we've had after that is the old NFR is in place, and there are contingencies on that old NFR that were not identified right away when the contract, when we purchased this property. And at this particular stage, what it requires is that all the property we have here is covered by asphalt. And that is something that would create problems with us with grass out front, with putting the challenge course in, the bike safety. So we've retained another consulting firm who I've worked with before, who is the largest remediation company consultant and environmental consultant in the state, to work with us in terms of resolving that issue so that we can move forward with these other capital projects that we'd like to pursue. It is strange to requiring us to do that because the area where those storage tanks is a very small area, relatively small. It is benzene. It isn't perk or any really bad contamination. And I don't know how that was originally required, and our consultant doesn't know either. So I think we have a very good chance of resolving this. It's just a matter of how much time it takes. And as you know, we're working with the state, so at least it's not the county. So then that's where we stand on remediation. On one other major issue that we've been working with, I shouldn't say major, but a long-lasting or ongoing project is in the Rapallo, Durking area, unincorporated area. I don't know if you're familiar with that. I think it's on Landmeyer, far to the east side of our township, past Busse. They've been having troubles with trucks coming through their neighborhoods, and they've been wanted action to be taken on that for some time. It's sort of lagged and has not been addressed, and so the last year, our administrator, under the board's direction, got more aggressive on that. We've worked with the county sheriff's office. They've come up with, we did a survey, they did interviews, we did traffic analyses, and came up with a proposal, a plan to correct the problem as best we can. And we worked with the county's sheriff's office, with the county commissioner, Cook County Commissioner, and with Elk Grove Village, and we are at a point where we should be able to put that plan in place, but we'll hold a meeting with the citizens first. And hopefully that'll get that situation largely resolved. Now the enforcement of what we put in place is really important too, and the county has said that they will pursue that with us. New services that we've added this last year are the Veteran Services Office, which I think has been a really good addition to what we can offer our citizens. I think they're working from what I understand, in good cooperation with our social services and our adult and youth services, our counseling and youth services. And I think this is a very synergistic service that works well and coordinates well with what we're doing as a whole. And this VSO office is not just for Elk Grove Township residents. It is for any veteran anywhere in the country, though obviously they're going to draw from primarily our area. And it's largely, it's also a real important part is it services or helps the surviving spouse, the children, the dependents, and any others that are involved with the veteran who may not understand the benefits or the opportunities that they are granted due to their significant others or their relatives' service. So I think this is we have a great VSO officer in there too, very experienced. We also added the Jocelyn Center in working with our adult and family counseling department or services. This allows us to provide immediate psychiatric services to those individuals that are deemed in need of medication. In the past, as you know, we've referred that to Kenneth Young, which is a great organization, but they've had huge backlogs, and it's taken in some places 6 months or so for them to see someone. And I think you can imagine if someone's in need of medication for anxiety, depression, whatever the case may be, 6 months is not good. And so I think this has been a great improvement that our adult and family services department has taken the lead on, and we've been able to make that arrangement. And I think this will be a tremendous service for our community, and we're not charging for that either. Also, we added in the social services department, we're trying to add senior services, trying to expand the services we provide for seniors. Some of them are just assistance in for instance, the STEP program that was added helps seniors identify what Medicare programs, packages are best for them, and provides advice and counseling for them in that matter. And there's a number of other ones that Corey has identified that she'd like to add that we provide that don't really require a lot of effort, but it will take time, and will take time from the staff, but they aren't complex and major programs that we can't easily provide. We also added shredding. We have 2 shredding days, one with the Mount Prospect Lions Club and the other one with the Elk Grove Lions Club. And I think this is a great opportunity for us to provide a service that is increasingly is not provided by banks and by other organizations that used to do that. Yet, in a way, it's a senior service, because when we did it with the Mount Prospect, the majority of the people that showed up with paper were people our age and older. There are not a lot of young people that had papers to shred. So this may be something we won't do for many, many years. This may, as generations change, this may be for 10, 15 years or so. But it's also a great opportunity to work with some of the other service organizations in the area as well too. And then the food pantry, which is doing a great job, added evening hours. Initially, they started out slow, and we thought, well, maybe this won't be necessary, but then they ramped up. And I think this provides a really good opportunity for people to be able to use our food pantry and not have to leave work or leave their kids or whatever the case may be during the day. And so that's been great, and then a nice addition as well, too. There's some other things, but those are the major ones. We've also made some adjustments organizationally. We added the agency grant committee, which I think did a great job in identifying which agencies we really should be supporting based on the services they provide to Elk Grove Township residents, and in terms of efficiency and effectiveness, as well as to make sure we're not duplicating. We're not supporting multiple organizations doing the same thing. And I think it allows our dollars to go further and have a greater impact. We also are making some adjustments to the Community Empowerment Fund, where there were some issues in terms of how the bylaws were structured. We're bringing it a little bit more, it's an independent 501c3, but we're also going to have more involvement from the township on the board. And we also cleaned up some of the concerns in terms of auditing and managing the money. And we also want to start, how would you say, promoting this fund and trying to develop it to the point where it's actually an endowment fund that throws off money without having to reduce the principal. It would be great to get to that point. Finally, new personnel. Luann Pross is our new clinical director. Dean, after years and years of service, retired. We hung on to him for about 8-9 months. He wanted to retire. We kept holding on to him. We said until he hires his replacement, he can't go. So he did a lot with the Jocelyn too. So Dean did a great job, and we really appreciate everything he's done. And I think he's left a great department with some great Carmen and Robin that I think Luann is able to move forward very well with. Carmen was moved to full-time as our Spanish-speaking counselor. Really important addition, particularly from the language point of view. Andrea Carrillo is a new caseworker, and Lissy Baker is the new part-time food pantry manager, assistant manager in a way, I guess you'd put it. And she seems to be a really good addition too. I think there's a lot of other ways she can contribute to the organization, right? I guess the last thing that this would mention is I think we've been doing a real good job. The township, I believe, is doing a good job in trying to make ourselves more visible and trying to make sure that people understand the services that we're providing and how unique and how special and how valuable they are, and how they can use these services. Some of the people that need it the most, how they can use these in a way that they can afford, and that they can, and that for not themselves, but not only themselves, but for their kids and others. And so I think even participation in things like parades or the presentations we've been making to village boards or community organizations, the redesign of the newsletter, the news releases we're putting out monthly. This is a step forward in terms of making sure that we're a visible organization, and that will continue. And then the last thing I'll always say that I think it's very important that we view ourselves not just as a transactional organization, but as a holistic organization, that we are working to solve the problem, not just put a Band-Aid on it by a transaction, by saying, oh, here's some money to pay your utility bill, but rather find out what the problem is underneath it, or other things of that nature. We want to make sure that we work with our residents to make sure that the problem is solved so they can go back into the community and take care of their families independently, be able to contribute to the community and become more part of it again. And I think that empowers our residents, as well as improves the quality of life in our community and in our township. So I think that covers most anything. Paul, is there anything else that you think should be mentioned for the citizenry? Okay. Well, I think I have maybe another page here that I All right, so anyway, is there any questions? Anybody have anything else that they want to ask?
Only just a small typographical.
Okay.
On the town fund ending balance, it says as of March 31st, 2021.
Notice that. I didn't want to say anything to embarrass Paul.
And then there's the road and bridge statement of receipts and disbursements, and that should be notated also.
Agreed. Okay. And that also, one last thing too, I say, is that the assessor's office continues. I know we focused on social services and counseling, on senior services, but the assessor's office has continued to take on more and more of a load, so to speak, as the property taxes in our area continue to become more and more onerous and become more and more difficult for many people to manage. And their assistance in helping people manage their taxes and to understand their taxes, I think, is really essential and important. And it's totally unique. Nobody else does this. If we would go away, people would have to do all this on their own, and it's not an easy process. So, okay, that's it. That's the supervisor's report. Or missive.
Thank you, Supervisor Busse. May I have a motion to accept the supervisor's report?
So moved.
Second? Is there any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. May I have a motion to approve the Resolution 2022-02 to set the date, time, and place for the 2023 Annual Town Meeting? Do I hear a second?
Second.
I'll second it.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. And finally, may I make a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Okay. And second? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you for coming. We'll see you next year.